What up? We are here. It is Golden Spaces, an Odyssey original podcast. Here with Kariemah. This is me, Justin. And the Warriors are back in the loss column. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games. Lost to the Dallas Mavericks. I don't know how many people were expecting a win. A win would have been great, but you're missing your two most impactful players, Steph and Draymond, both out tonight. Steph out, still recovering from the ankle injury, and Draymond had the no Steph flu, so he had some lower back tightness
In
tonight.
fairness, in fairness, though, not that I'm really trying to give grace to Draymond all like that because we know the rap sheet on him, but he was listed on the injury list for that Spurs game that we just played with the lower back soreness, and he played through it, and we could see that he was playing through it. So they kind of like, listen, we're just gonna sit you down because we really want you in this Laker game. So
Right. They better win that Laker game
they better.
because they're digging themselves into a hole. Like we obviously know they probably, unless they just completely bomb going here from here on out, they're not going to be out of the play-in. But the goal is to be as high seed in the play-in as possible, and like you're picking the wrong time of the season to start losing these winnable games. Like the Chicago and the Spurs game are just two inexcusable losses. And then obviously the Mavericks and the Lakers are ahead of you. So winning games against them or winning most of the games against them is going to be absolutely crucial in passing them in the standings because you get a whole game. Right? The Mavericks just gained another whole game on the Warriors. So, and then for tiebreaker purposes as well, you need to beat them as much as possible. But we could talk about this game specifically. Like, it just seems like nobody on the Warriors could really hit a shot other than JK. Like,
And even he was looking suspect at times,
oh yeah, I don't think anyone in particular played well this game.
Yeah.
JK scored well, but I don't think anybody on the team really played well. Trace played okay.
Yeah.
But you could just see there's a clear gap between him and like Lively and Gafford. Those guys. I mean, Lively is just 3 inches taller. Like I don't think he's that much better. He's just like taller and bigger than Trace. And Gafford is a veteran. Like
right. And both of them have played significantly more games than Trace has. But I still thought Trace put up a really good effort, and he was making some good moves, and he learns quickly, I will say.
For sure.
Very quickly.
Yeah, the background he has of playing, like we said before, playing for an NBA coach in college and playing all those years in college, you can tell like he's a smart kid. I mean, he knows the ins and out of the game, and he has more skill than like people kind of give him credit for. He can handle it a little bit and pass and stuff like that. So he was kind of like one of the few bright spots from this game. I think just in particular, the story of the game was the Warriors just couldn't score. They put up 99 points, which is terrible. They shot 40% from the field, 32% from 3. And other than Wiggins and Kuminga, nobody could get to the line either because it was just block city.
Yeah.
Everybody getting their shot thrown. They just needed their athletes to get to the line. Everybody else just couldn't do anything. So if you're not gonna have Steph to just provide obviously gravity, scoring, and all that type of stuff, you're not going to have Draymond to connect all the plays, provide screening, push the ball in transition. Your offense is going to be at a major disadvantage, and you would hope that you would get the best version of Chris Paul and Klay to kind of like carry a lot of that offensive load. But you got the old versions of them pretty much, right? They looked a little old.
Yeah, Chris wasn't, taking the shots that were there, kind of just, traffic police out there for most of it. But I will say on the defensive end, I thought we held up pretty good. I mean, considering just 109 that Dallas was able to put up, and we held them really well on that 3-point line until all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, now all of a sudden they can shoot threes, just hitting. And, But I thought defensively we really did play solid. Just the offense just never manifested. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, you definitely can applaud them for this defensive effort. I think for the most part, like you said, they ran them off the line. They contested well, so Dallas didn't get hot from three. On the inside, though, they got absolutely destroyed. Um,
demolished.
they got demolished. They couldn't stop Luka from getting to wherever he wanted, and then when they overhelped or helped too late or something like that, he just dished it to one of Gafford or PJ Washington or
Lively, or
Lively.
you just
I mean,
anyone.
Dallas has a pretty good roster, to be honest. Like I think like they just have a lot of size, they have a lot of athleticism. They have obviously Luka and Kyrie to carry the offense, and then everybody else around them just plays defense. Like they play defense, they're tall, they're athletic. Some of those guys can't shoot, but those guys that can't shoot can really play above the rim, you know. And I guess that's like kind of the difference between this current Golden State roster and a lot of rosters in the NBA. It's just like you need probably just a little bit more athleticism, a little bit more size on the perimeter in particular. And that would allow you to just, you know, compete with a lot of these other teams. Even when your best players are out, you can still just match them size for size and just win those marginal areas of the game. But on to the next one. Right, they got the Lakers on Saturday, so they got 2 days to get ready. I'm sure they'll probably get a practice in maybe the day before the Lakers game or something.
They will.
Yeah, get Steph back into a rhythm in some capacity, get Draymond back in there, and then they'll be back to hopefully a new stretch of games where they have everybody available. Because, like we said, just when everybody get back, somebody got to drop off at some point. So hopefully this is from this point until whenever the season ends for them, they should be good to go. Let's look at some individual performances. Like we said, nobody really played well, but the one major bright spot was Kuminga with 27 points, just getting to the rim still at will. That's something that he can bring to this team like consistently, because there's nothing easier in basketball than a layup, right? And he can get to the rim and get a layup or a dunk pretty much at will against any type of player, because he's a tier 1 athlete in the league. And he was just going right into the chest of these 7-footers and these shot blockers and finishing at the rim. And, you know, he had a few moments where not being really aware.
Yes.
Leading to turnovers, guys digging at the ball and smacking it out. He's dropping it or losing it out of bounds or something like that. So he has to clean that up. But you can see the foundation of his offensive game just being constant rim pressure, just being able to, you know, be really, really consistent with that and build upon that going forward.
Yeah, for him though, also it's the moments on defense where once again you can't blank out. You can't. You can't just be a cone out there. Like, what kind of defensive pressure are you putting on Kyrie there? None. You're kind of just like, well, oh, now he's getting by me. Now everybody has to kind of collapse there. And then it's an easy dish off to a Lively, to a Gafford, to just anybody right there at the rim, you know, because of your lackadaisicalness, you know, out on the defensive end. Like we can't have that. And it's like, for me, it's late in the season. There's no reason for that. You can't just not be competitive on that end and take stuff off. Like, you can't do that. Like, we're trying to win games, buddy. And you can't just still be, you know, upset about a call you did not get on the other end. I need you to hustle. I need you to be like, all right, let me get this back right here. Like, shake it off. Next play, dude. Next play. And he does a lot of that, kind of still sulking and not being in it on the defensive end. That ends up hurting us, costing us a basket, costing us a 3-pointer, just because he's still thinking about what happened or what didn't happen for him on the other end. So, but I mean, it's just those things that it's like, come on, we're going to need you to stay locked in. Simple as that.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, if you're going to be relied upon to be one of these foundational players on the team, like those little things, because those really are little things, like effort and awareness are little things.
Right.
It doesn't come in abundance in the NBA because there's so many players that just don't care about that. But for a championship level team, for somebody that you want to be one of the guys leading you to the playoffs year in and year out, that has to be an absolute baseline. Like, I'm going to stay attached when I need to stay attached. I'm going to keep my head on a swivel. I'm going to do all these things to make sure my team is in the right position defensively. But when you're doing the other things like playing defense with your hands down, giving up direct line drives, like that just can't fly. I don't understand how, in a way he's kind of regressed a little bit defensively, and it's natural for a player to not be quite as good defensively when their offensive load goes up.
Right.
But he's one of those players that are a rare level of athlete that can sustain both things. Like you can, you're 21 years old, athlete, like you can play defense at a high level and play offense at a high level. Like that's, and if you want to be one of those Hall of Fame players, like top tier players in the league, you got to be able to do both. That is your superpower, right?
Yeah.
You're not like a Steph that can just shoot, crazy, like a Jokic, crazy Luka. Where these guys don't have to be dominating defensive players to impact the same level of guys that are two-way players. You got to be one of those two-way wings. You got to be striving to be like a Kawhi, a Paul George, Jimmy Butler, LeBron, like these dudes that play both sides of the ball that are freak athletes because they can do it. So, yeah, it's been something that's been kind of consistent this year. It's consistent with Wiggins as well. It's a little bit worse with Wiggins, but when Draymond isn't there specifically, it goes off the rails. They're just like, yeah, okay, we don't got to play defense today. Draymond ain't here, like telling us to play defense. So
right. He ain't gonna get us, but he's right there on the bench coaching you, telling you what to do, especially when there's a timeout. But also, it's like, but Kuminga, you're also getting rest because you're about to shoot free throws because you get to the line often. So take a breath. That's where you're getting your rest, dude. Get back on defense and actually work on defense. Because guess what? When you do, that's a fast break, most likely for you, dude. Yeah. So, and you're all about, I want to make my points. I want to make my point. So, come on.
Yeah. Like if you're going to be elevated to that level of, impact or something like role on the team, expectation, it comes with that. Like with great power, they say that the Spider-Man thing, when great power comes with great responsibility, that's literally what it is, right? Like if you're one of the top guys on the team, you need to be one of the top guys on the team on both ends. Like the defense has to be better when you're on the court. Very clearly has to be better. Like you got to be out there making plays. And I said something about this when they played Denver. Like obviously he has a higher role offensively than like an Aaron Gordon or a KCP. But those guys' motor is so crazy high. Like they're always in the mix defensively. They never miss a rotation. They're always like hands up, active. They know the scouting report to a T. They don't let certain guys get to the shots they want to get to, if they can help it at least. You know what I mean? Like there's certain guys in the NBA that are so good that it's like only so much you can do. But you shouldn't be getting scored on because of a mental mistake. You shouldn't be getting scored on because of a lack of effort. Or you just feel like taking a playoff.
Yeah.
That should never be the case. Like if a guy's just so good that you can play great defense and he still scores, all right, whatever, cool. Tip your hat.
Exactly. But that's not what's happening.
It's not what's happening. You don't guard Kyrie Irving with your hands behind your back. You don't let him just like drive by you. You know what I mean? Like that type of stuff got to stop. That type of stuff. He was kind of getting cooked by DeRozan too. We don't want to like just pile on JK here, but DeRozan was like kind of giving him the business too. So it's like you got to take the challenge a little bit more. And, even his second year and his rookie year, he was much better defensively, I would think, because he was trying to get on the court. Now that he's on the court consistently, we need that same level of dog, like to be like, all right, I need to find a way to stop these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to him for the offense being a very consistent form of impact for him. But that defense, the rebounding, all the effort plays has to come as well. And that has to be a consistent thing. It cannot be some games it's there, some games it's not.
Right.
Moving on to the other crazy athletic wing that we have. Andrew Wiggins, he was the second leading scorer. He had 17 points. He started to turn it on a little bit in the fourth quarter, going hard to the rim. And it just one of those things is like, why don't you do this all the time? Why are you taking like soft layups? Why are you not going into guys' chests? Like,
why aren't you exploiting the mismatch? It's Kyrie, and you've decided, oh no, this will be too much. Let me pass it. Are you kidding me?
right.
Ay,
One thing with
ay,
Wiggs that I've
ay.
seen, that's really annoying that he does is he takes like a half a second to make any decision that he's going to make on offense, particularly. Like he's always like kind of like dribbling up a little slow. He'll catch the ball, he'll do a jab, and then he'll make a pass. It's like we need the ball to be zipping.
Zip, zip. Yes.
Whatever decision you're going to make, whether it's a drive, whether it's a shot, whether it's a post up, just go do it quickly and explosively. Like guys cannot hang with you. You're a 6'8" freak athlete. Like I don't think sometimes that he realizes just the type of advantage he has over pretty much everybody athletically. It just doesn't come enough, and it's the same thing in terms of effort, awareness defensively, which is even more disappointing considering we've seen him lock in and be one of the very best defensive players in the league.
I mean, he did well on Luka tonight. Like I'll give him that.
He did well on Luka when he's in front of Luka and it's like a one-on-one thing. If the screen comes, he's blowing up, he's messing up the coverages, he's messing up the switches, he's late on the rolls. You gotta
fight. You gotta fight through that. Get back to who we want you on, Luka. We don't want nobody else.
Why are we conceding switches? I just don't get how we let the other team hunt our players way too often, considering we don't have Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford back there blocking everything, right? Especially when Draymond ain't playing, y'all need to be like, okay, we're keeping our best defenders on their best players, like regardless. Like, just refuse to be screened.
Yeah,
just don't get screened. Get around the effing screen. Like
and they purposely matched his minutes to match Luka's. Like, why do you think they're doing that, Andrew?
Right.
Huh?
Right. And I mean, credit to, I guess, the Warriors defense. Luka didn't give them like 35 like he usually does.
Right. Or 40. Like
he didn't have a triple-double. His triple-double streak ended tonight, and he had 6 turnovers. But it's just certain things like when Daniel Gafford is 5 for 5, Derek Jones is 3 for 4.
Oof.
Derek Lively 6 for 8. That just shows like, okay, Luka's probably not going crazy because we're like helping super hard on him because he's already getting by his first guy. Then we send 2-3 people over and he's just dishing it to these other dudes and they're shooting 95% on the dunks that he's creating. So yeah, you might have slowed Luka down, but did you really slow him down? Because he's just creating everything else for everybody else. So those two in particular just have to be better defensively. The motor has to be there. The rebounding has to be there. Their awareness has to be there if this team wants to do anything special at all. And that's just what it is. Moving down the line, we already spoke a little bit about Chris Paul and Klay Thompson. They both looked a little old tonight, like just in different ways. Like Chris Paul just couldn't find ways to get a clean shot off, which is to be expected when you're playing against athletes with long arms and you're almost 40 years old if he's not already 40. And Klay could get his shot off. He just couldn't make them, which has been the theme largely for Klay this season. He had one stretch early-ish in the season where he was, finding his rhythm and he was hitting shots. But outside of that, it's been very inconsistent shot making for Klay. And I mean, I would like to think at some point the floodgates will open for him and just his natural like shooting talent will return and he'll be able to just consistently knock down open shots, because that's been the theme, right? He just misses open shots a lot. But we're still waiting for it. Like we've been waiting for it. He's 3 for 13.
Still hoping and wishing and praying. I'm sure you and Greg will not get that movie reference either. But anyway, we move on.
Wow. Actually, don't get that reference. So you finally got me. You finally got me.
Oh, the kid.
But let's talk a little bit about Mr. Dario Saric. Like, it's time, brother. It's time.
It's time, brother.
Now,
it sounded very wrestling-esque.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan. But obviously Moses Moody got in foul trouble tonight. There's no Draymond Green, so that opened up the lane for Dario to get
Right.
minutes. 8 minutes. He was absolutely destructive in those minutes.
Yes. And
Uh,
but to be fair, the 8 minutes weren't, all up front because he was playing in the garbage time. So
mhm,
let's credit those minutes there as well.
for sure.
But in the stint, once Moses picked up those 3 fouls, it was like, well, who else are you going to go to? Okay, we're going to give you a shot, Dario, because I don't think Dario was going to get in this game at
No, he
all.
was not.
So it was one of those, well, we got to put him in right now because who are we're putting in Jerome Robinson? Is that who we're gonna do?
I would have tried Guy
You
Santos.
wouldn't? Oh, well, yeah, Gee. I was thinking Gee, but I think Kerr still kind of was just like, well, maybe Dario will find a shot. Just maybe. Because I think we're all hoping that please Dario find your shot, please. Maybe it's this game. Maybe.
I
But
mean, the thing with Dario, I mean, he took one shot.
yeah.
Um, so he's not even getting a bunch of
No,
shots.
he's not.
If he isn't scoring, because early in the season he was scoring at a pretty good clip.
High clip, yeah.
He was scoring at a high clip. He was coming in hitting multiple threes, getting post up layups and all type of stuff. Now he can't do that, and then we all know the defensive issues. Like I want to say he played 6 minutes in that first stint, and I think he played 2 minutes of
Okay.
garbage time, something like that. He was a minus 11. Like,
And yeah, and we could see all
and it was
minus
noticeable.
11.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
like
it was like, whew. But
layups.
it was like they tried to weather the storm, and then
Mm-hmm.
Kerr was like, "Okay, time out,
Mm-hmm.
because you ain't it, kid.
Ain't
We
it?
tried."
Yeah, the defense is just too bad at this point. I tweeted he's approaching. Well, he's officially in JMG territory, where he's just unplayable. He's just
Oh
completely
yeah,
unproductive player.
yep,
The only positive you can possibly get from him is if a team leaves him open for three and he gets super hot. Like other than that, he's not going to give you much rebounding. He's not going to give you any defense. In fact, it's going to be negative defense. He's not going to give you anything rolling towards the basket. Um, so he was a good dude. He was a good dude. I mean, like we all wanted Dario in the offseason, and for a good portion of the season, he was delivering. He
he
was outperforming
was
his contract.
right.
And that's the thing with vet minimum players, like they're unpredictable. So
Okay, I like
hopefully,
that.
yeah, hopefully he can get back to
Yeah,
something, and maybe later on in a postseason form he can come through and have a big game and just kind of help us in that regard. But right now, he should not see the floor at all, at all.
yeah.
Um,
Wait, and Guy Santos, he didn't even get in garbage time.
he did not. He did
Huh.
not.
That's interesting. Maybe he's still, I don't know, maybe something's still nagging with, I don't know, because Pods went back in. So that's why I'm not sure
Mhm.
why Guy Santos, they usually just like clear the bench and like, all right, all y'all get in there. Get in
Yeah. But I mean, I
there.
guess if
Okay.
there would be more minutes for like more development minutes, development, or just like minutes for pods to go out there. I don't know. But speaking of pods,
Mm,
we have multiple things to talk about with pods. But like he didn't have a
yeah.
great game tonight either. I think something about pods that people are failing to realize is like he's not really like his skill in terms of shot making hasn't really translated the way it was supposed to yet.
Right.
Um, he was shooting 40 something percent from three earlier in the season. I think it was teams, not really scheming for him and stuff like that.
Right.
He was hot, but he, if he has to, or if he wants to be any type of like franchise cornerstone going forward, or any type of player with any type of star potential, the shot making has to get there, whether it be floaters around the rim or
Mm,
consistent pull up jump shooting or something. That is the key for him to leap from just average do it all role player guy, like Swiss Army knife guy, to an actual like high level player, to build around going forward. But he still filled the stat sheet. He had 4 steals. He's playing with energy and things like that. But it's offensively, he has to be able to do a little bit more, as his career progresses. And then defensively, it's just not much he can like do against certain matchups, right? Like he was not great defensively tonight.
Right. I mean, he did what he could, but also on the offensive end, he's got to have more awareness of who is around him and who is on the court with him. He did a lot of pounding that ball. It was a lot of Chris Paul-esque stuff there to where you're holding it, but then you're also missing people. It's just like certain things like pods, you're driving, but you needed to already dump that pass off. Like you've got 2 defenders. They don't see Kuminga right over here. You give that pass to him after you get the steal. You dump that off. We have a bucket. Now it's a free-for-all because they blocked your shot. Now they're going back the other way. And now you're hustling back.
And that
but these are multiple times. And it's just like, okay, pods. Yes, I love that you're going to drive in there, but come back out. But I need you to still, you've got to move the ball. It's too much you holding on to it. And then now shot clock. We can't have that.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's something that comes in his development. I saw it earlier in the season as well. Like he just was missing Klay in particular a lot.
Yeah.
That's funny that you brought up that play with Kuminga. It was a fast break. I'm pretty sure we're thinking the same play.
Yep.
JK was right there, and he went up, I think got blocked or something like that. And they just went right back down. And I'm like, brother, you got to get that up a little. You probably got to get that up.
Yeah.
So that's something that he got to get in this game. Which brings me to my next thing. Everybody's seen the clip from the last game and made a big deal out of it, where Wiggins was coming down the fast break and could have passed it to Pods.
He went up. Should have. Because he was lollygagging once again with thinking, how do you know they're coming after you?
Yeah.
You would have went full speed instead of slowing down and thinking you had it. Then Pods isn't there saying, yo, pass it to me. Right. But you want to be just trotting.
It's cool.
Trotting and
and then, right.
Well, go ahead. Finish on that. Finish on that. Go ahead.
But yeah, the tables were turned. He didn't pass to Kuminga, and he got his shot blocked. He didn't even get fouled.
Right.
So it's like, brother, just give the ball up a little bit more. Yeah, like that's the name of the game right there. Pass to your teammate, do everything with force and be intentional, and play for your teammates.
Yeah.
So I'll say, play for your teammates there.
Yeah, he might just get a little, they may need to just like, listen, let me talk to you for a minute, because now you're getting a little too big for your britches, but we love what you're doing. We love what you're doing out there, but we're just going to need you to have more awareness, scale it back just a scotch. We're not talking, hey, don't go do all these things, because he does bring a lot of positive to the squad. So we're not trying to, diminish all of that, but there are pockets where, hey, let's back it on up. That floater's not hitting. Let's back it on up. Let's reset here, pass the ball. Let someone else just not make the shot, but you got to give it up. So.
Yeah. I mean, there's talks of some people saying like he has a little bit of selfishness in him, and there was the I forgot who wrote the article, but there was pretty much the saying that like his confidence almost to the point like kind of, did they say it pisses the veterans off or something like that?
Right. Well, Kerr had I think
he was joking
about it.
Yeah, Kerr made a joke about it, but
kind of gets the vets pissed off a little bit,
Yeah. There's a truth to every joke.
Right, exactly. I'm sure it's rubbed some vets the wrong way. It probably doesn't rub Steph the wrong way
Right.
because that's a different dynamic there, you know.
Yeah.
But I can probably pick out some of the bets that, it's
Hmm.
probably irritating them, but we don't need to dive into that. So
Right. We don't need to. So that's just funny. This is funny, the
yeah.
discourse that arises when teams start to lose games and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
how about you win some games and there wouldn't be any talk of all this other stuff
Right.
going on. Speaking of other stuff going on, Mr. Podmon Green had NBA legend, Hall of Famer on his podcast, Isiah Thomas, who had a
Who's still
few.
butthurt? Who's still
Oh, very
butthurt?
much,
Okay.
very much. When is he not butthurt? He's butthurt
Right.
about Magic, butthurt about Michael Jordan, butthurt about everything. But he had a few interesting things to say about the Warriors, in particular. Two things that were very inflammatory, obviously, topics about whether or not Steph Curry is a point guard and whether or not Kevin Durant saved the Warriors dynasty.
Saved us. Ooh.
So first and foremost, let's talk about um, the Steph not a point guard point. I tweeted earlier today, if someone says to you that Draymond Green is the Warriors point guard, just end the conversation right there.
Point blank,
Conversation's done.
period.
Conversation's done. He's not a playmaker for the team. Draymond Green is a play connector. And he will tell you this. He said it time and time again.
Right.
The only reason his assists go up is because two people go with Steph. Two people go with Klay. All right. So it does two things for him. One, it leaves him open more times than not if he's setting the screen. So now he has the time to survey the floor and stuff like that. And he makes decisions very quickly. He's
Right.
probably the best, if not one of the best play connectors in NBA history. But it allows him that. And it gives him an option because the team, the defense has to react to somebody and somebody's going to be left open. So he just has to
Right.
make that play. He just has to just give the ball to the open guy who then makes the basket. So he gets the assist when obviously it was either Steph or Klay who created that advantage.
And there we are.
And there we are. So don't confuse that with being a point guard. I don't care if he brings the ball up the court sometimes. Like, very obviously, the Warriors system is designed around leveraging Steph and Klay's ability to shoot the basketball. They know defenses will react to them a certain way. So it just creates easier opportunities for the teammates. And Draymond is someone who can pull bigs away from the paint, first and foremost, because he's playing a big position. Secondly, he can just make those connecting passes
Right.
at a really high level. That doesn't make him a playmaker. It doesn't make him a point guard. Please stop it. Steph is a point guard.
Oh, he brings up the ball sometimes too.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, don't we always hear, put the ball in Steph's hand, put the ball in Steph's hand, put the ball in Steph's
Right.
hands. It
Yeah.
must be he must be something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Zeke's a hater. We already know Zeke's a hater. Steph is
Super hater.
Steph surpassed Zeke. Like the first 2 years of his prime, he surpassed Zeke. So it's not even a question of whether or not who's the better point guard, who's the better player, any capacity.
Right.
Steph, yeah, I don't think there's anything in particular Isiah Thomas did better than Steph Curry at basketball. So it's not even like a discussion there. But we just had to clear that up. Stephen Curry is a point guard. He's able to do more things than just the traditional point guard stuff.
Exactly.
So people don't want to put him in that category when it's like, come on.
Right.
Come on now. Well, if you don't want to put him in that category, it's fine, but don't act like he can't do those things.
Right.
That's just idiotic. That's just idiotic. So the second thing that he said was that without Kevin Durant, all of their legacies are different. And he implied pretty much that like they don't win those two championships without KD.
Right.
They're not a dynasty without him. Essentially, the Warriors, mystique is because of Kevin Durant going there. What say you to that?
I call BS.
Yeah.
Okay, because the legacy who it actually elevated was Kevin Durant for joining the 73-9 Warriors, which everybody loves to state. But the fact that we actually have that record must mean we must have been a pretty darn good team. And we won what, 67 games the prior season? It's just like, I think we were doing pretty well, and KD was just a luxury. Added it on top of the cupcake, basically. Yeah, cupcake. So, what my thing is just like, but he was a free agent, and the Warriors were not the only team that were interested. It amazes me how they totally forget that wasn't LeBron wanting KD as well? All these other teams were calling up like, "Yo, he's free agent. Like, come to us, come to us." But nobody has smoke for all the other teams that inquired. They've got smoke for us because we landed him, and the fact that actually he wanted to be on the team because you know what? He probably saw I could actually win a chip by joining the Stephen Curry led Warriors. Makes sense to me. So the fact that even after Kevin left, what did we go and do? Win another championship. So if it wasn't KD that came, there were other free agents out there that you don't think we would have gotten someone? Everyone was going for KD. You'd be a fool not to at least make the call because then you're not doing your job as a GM if you don't make that call. Oh, no, 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 because, he was with OKC and we won 73-9 games, so we can't possibly have him here. We were upgrading from Harrison Barnes. Okay? That was, look, and it was an upgrade. That's what we do. We upgrade in spots where we feel like things are lacking. So Isiah could just go kick rocks, like Stephen A would say. Because it's just the hate that is just nestled right here. And I can't even believe it coming from someone who isn't a big guy. You would think he would be more in line with what Curry has done throughout his career because they're similar in height. But no, he's falling into that trap. Too much of that haterade that he's sipping on. Now, at this point, it's just running through his veins.
Oh yeah, I think he's definitely aligned with the whole LeBron is better than MJ. He, of course, he wants to push that, right? So
Oh, yeah.
KD threw a big wrench in that. Well, really, it's the Warriors who threw a big wrench in that, but KD sealed the deal. Like it was no way you were beating them with KD. So yeah, there's definitely sipping the haterade. You would think people would use logic and say, well, they won a championship before and after Kevin Durant. So it seems like they were pretty damn good, regardless. They were probably going to win multiple championships regardless because they did win multiple championships without him. Who's to say the years 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21, what would have happened if KD never came? Who knows? Klay probably doesn't get hurt. And you know what I mean? Like so many things could have happened, but that's a 5-year window of time from the time they lost in the finals to they won their next one.
Yeah.
Who's to say they wouldn't have won 2 titles in that span still? Maybe they win 1, maybe they win 3. You never know. Like you honestly never know, but you do know that they won without him and with him. So you cannot say that he's the reason they're a dynasty. You can't say their legacies are so much less if he doesn't come and all this type of stuff. Like you don't know what would have happened.
And what has KD won
What has he won?
since leaving? He's joined 2 teams since leaving.
Exactly. And 2 super teams. Honestly, like all NBA, top 10-ish, top 15, top 20 players, all in his roster before and after Golden State. Russell Westbrook MVP wasn't with him, but like he was still there.
But again, he had somebody with him because the talk of the town was, oh, KD and Russ, bump, bump, bump. They went to the Western Conference Finals, then boop, 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 boop.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, He ain't sniffed nothing since he left.
Nothing.
Mm, mm.
The
But
disc
okay.
the discourse is very funny. It's very obviously tied to people being heavily invested in LeBron's legacy and the
Mm-hmm.
fact that the Warriors threw a big wrench in that, got 4 of those chips, 3 of them against LeBron. Who knows what his legacy looks like if the Warriors don't exist? Like how many more championships he wins. So people are always going to have like a little sour taste in their mouth when it comes to the Warriors and Steph Curry in particular. They're going to do whatever they can to discredit their accomplishments and say,
Yep.
"Oh, you wouldn't have beat LeBron without X, Y, and Z. It's the only way you can do it. You wouldn't have won these championships without X, Y, and Z. None of this logic ever applies to any other championship team ever. Every other
Or
championship team plays all healthy teams. That's it."
right. Or never applies to LaFlop's, teams.
Clark.
You had Kyrie, but now Kyrie's a buster. Like now he's not. But in 2016, it was just like, because Kyrie and him, they both went up. But look at the games that they had to have
Mm-hmm.
in order to overtake. And all of these things had to happen for them to finally get over that hump. But okay. But Kevin Love is now a buster, But before it was they got Kevin Love, they got Kyrie, and it's LeBron, blah 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 blah. But as soon as something happens, it's now, well, no, because LeBron he did it on his own and and he didn't have the best team and blah blah. But before he was just, but I thought it okay, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, these people they're trying to hide in plain sight. It's just not working. We already know
Yep.
what you're about. No point in even engaging in conversation with these people. So it is what it is. The thing that I find a little bit annoying is that kind of like I understand that Draymond has a show to complete in a certain amount of time and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So you can't go ramble on and argue with people about certain topics. But brother, I'm gonna need you to stick up a little bit more for
Right. There was
your
no
team.
pushback. So all I can think is that come next show, he is then going to kind of clean it up and be like, look, Isiah Thomas, Hall of Famer, I just let him get off what he needed to,
Mm-hmm.
and we move on. But now in this episode, he will address it to be like, now we know I ain't want to, go hard at the Hall of Famer. I thanked him for coming on my show, but I disagree. You know what I mean? Will we get that hard? Like it's like stick up for Curry, like you be sticking up for oh boy, who in purple and gold.
Every chance he gets, he's
I'm
gonna LeBron.
just saying, like everything, anytime there is going, I bet you if someone kept account of how many times he drops LeBron's name in his podcast, it would just be off the charts,
Yeah.
So it's like, how long is it going to be for you to actually just like stick up for him? Like Clutch will still give you whatever money you need or whatever. Like it's not going to go away, or you just find a new agent. Okay. Period. End of story. And LeBron won't be your friend anymore. Boo hoo. But come on. Like, did you win chips with LeBron? Because I don't remember that happening. I don't.
Yeah, because it didn't. But yeah, we'll see if he does that. I can't remember him ever going back and
Right. Address
retroactively
it. Yeah.
addressing
But
the Maverick Carter thing and all that type of stuff. He might address the KD thing because he's making it a point to go at KD whenever he can. So he's probably going to say something like we would have won still without KD, type of stuff. But we'll see if he ever walks back the Steph thing. But
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Before we get out of here, though, we'll look ahead, the Warriors' schedule and things going forward for them and standings and all that type of stuff. We all know they got the Lakers on Saturday in LA. Steph should be back for that game. I think he's like hopeful or whatever
Yeah, because he was practicing with the Santa Cruz Warriors.
right.
And the fact that he's practicing, that clearly is like a really good sign. And so they say that he'll be practicing Friday before Saturday's game, and then that's where they will make their decision if he is a go.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I'm
I think it's
thinking
one
he
of
will
those.
be.
I think it's one of those things where, like, if it was the playoffs, he would be playing. Like, he's healthy enough to play, but they just probably want him at 100% or close to it as possible.
Yeah.
So they got them. Then they got the Knicks. OG is back, and the Knicks are just like kind of back to being really, really good with him. So we'll see there. And then, I mean, after this Lakers game, they're home for 3 games, so they should win all 3 home games, hopefully.
Well,
And that'll
who we playing? The Grizzlies up in there
the Knicks,
somewhere?
the Knicks, the Grizzlies, and the Pacers.
Oh, the Pacers. The Pacers who are on a roll. I mean, I think they just lost to the Bulls tonight, but still they've been playing, and their motor is like on 1,000.
Right. So you're gonna have to be hitting on all cylinders there. But you got time and space in between these games. So it's not like you're playing back-to-backs and stuff like that. Like, you're at
Okay, well,
home.
that's
So they
good.
should be feeling good. They should be feeling good going into that Pacers game. And if they beat the Lakers and then win out at home, that's a 4-game winning streak to give you some momentum to go onto this road stretch against some decent teams, right? You got the Timberwolves, you got the Heat, you got the Magic. Heat and Magic is a back-to-back. And then you got the Hornets and the Spurs, which you should win. But, well, it's the end of a road trip, so you never know.
Yeah. Well, we've been doing pretty well on the road, so hopefully we can keep that up. It's like we got to take care of home though. Like we got
Yeah.
to start getting that back. But shout out to Moses Moody for finally hitting a 3. So I know he loves seeing that go down. And I was like, "Whew, thank you." So hopefully, that gets him going. But he looks like he's firmly in the rotation.
Yeah, because he at least plays defense and he understands where he should be.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So, pretty hopeful that he's not going to lose his rotation spot again for the rest of this season. We'll see next season when he starts the season playing and then gets put out the rotation again. But
or if he gets traded. Oh my gosh.
Or if he gets traded.
Salary dump.
Looking at the standings, the Warriors are a game and a half behind the Lakers, who are losing to the Kings right now by 15. Hopefully the streak of Anthony Davis never beating Sabonis continues. The weirdest streak in the NBA. They just have the Lakers number for some reason. He has AD's number. I don't even know if he's playing tonight, but that's just funny. And obviously the Mavericks gained a whole game over the Warriors, so now they are 3.5 games ahead of the Warriors, which means you better beat them the next 2 times to make up 2 of those 3.5 games, and then you have to outpace them, and you have to beat the Lakers as well because the Lakers have a game and a half over you.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we have to just win every game, basically. I mean,
pretty much.
I kind of like just have that in your mind, like we have to win every game. So there is no, hey, we could kind of like jerk this one off. No, we can't. We have to win every game.
Yeah. I mean, at the 60 game mark, I said they had to go 18-4 to win 50 games. They've already lost 3. So you got to go. You got room for one more loss if you want to win 50 games. You want to win 50. And I honestly think they would have to win 50 to get out of the play-in, to be honest. I think they would have to win 50. So it's not looking like they're going to be out of the play-in, but you never know what can happen. But the thing is, you want to get at least to the 8th seed, 7th seed, something like that, so you can more so control your destiny.
Yeah.
And try to get a 7th seed because, 8, 9, and 10 fighting for the 8th seed just to play Denver in the first round is just not going to be something that you want.
Be fun. That could be fun.
Not going to be fun. Much rather see OKC or Minnesota. That would be ideal. Then I think the pathway there for them to get to the conference finals is much clearer because you wouldn't have to see the Clippers either until the conference finals. So,
and the Clippers got a little shake up now with Kawhi and James.
That's true.
But
that's true.
Yeah, but I'm just looking forward to this Laker game, and it's like, yes, Curry doesn't have the bestest, outing when he plays in LA. But he hasn't played in a while, so I'm looking for him to really show out.
Where were they when they played the Lakers last? I think they were in LA.
They were?
I think
Or
they
in
were
that
in.
OT? I
I,
feel
I want to say they were
that
in
they were
LA.
home. But hey, they listen, I trust you. You're pretty good
Nope,
with
they were
that.
home. They were home.
I guess
Damn.
I should always really just trust myself here. But
Yeah.
going down to the wire, I'm still mad at that game. But I've got to move past it. I know. I've got to move past
Hmm.
it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we'll see. We'll see. It'll be his first game back, and it'll be in LA, so the odds are against him a little bit. But maybe everybody else who couldn't hit a shot today finds a rhythm and can hit shots. Chris Paul, Klay Thompson,
yeah.
everybody else.
And now Moses, he's gonna find his groove.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I
Yeah.
hope so. And let's hope that we've got an aggressive Wiggins again, and he'll be aggressive on defense still. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Come on, Justin.
So
We've
we're
got to
hoping for
believe.
it.
We've got to believe.
Yeah. 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 All right. So, do you have anything else for the people?
For the people, hey, let's continue to remain positive. I know it gets kind of just like, oh, we're never going to get there, but we will. We just have to keep the faith, believe in our squad that we can pull through this. Yeah, so go Dubs.
Go Dubs. There you have it. So remember to follow us on all of our socials, Instagram, X, TikTok, all of that.
While
Uh,
TikTok still exists.
while TikTok still exists. Watch these videos on YouTube, 95.7 The Game's YouTube channel under their podcast feed. We are there, posted the next day. Listen to us on all of your podcast platforms, wherever. Leave a review, 5 stars, all that good stuff. Tell a friend. And we will see you guys on the next one, Saturday night after the Lakers game.
All right. Peace.